everyone. How are we doing on this Monday evening?
And welcome to Circles Live, the final one of 2023.
I can't believe it. We're at the end of the year already.
We are at the end of the year. It has absolutely, I can genuinely say, this year has flown by. I wonder if that is something to do with our age.
Hey, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
I think as you get older, time goes quicker. That's my theory. But 2023 has absolutely flown by.
And that's why we're asking this question tonight.
It is indeed.
What is your key goal for 2024? 2024 feels like 5 years from now.
Do you know what? While we were sitting just waiting for this to start, I was thinking, 24. It felt like the year 2000 was just a few years ago. Remember the turn of we went into the new millennium and we did lots of celebrations. Maybe you were around. Maybe you were very, very young. Maybe you weren't even born.
Yeah, maybe you weren't even born.
Because that is possible. But that going from 1999 into 2000 was huge. But that just feels like yesterday. Oh, not yesterday, but it does feel like only a few years. And I can't believe I'm saying 2024.
2024 is just round the corner. We are a matter of weeks away. And tonight is a bonus.
It's a
circus.
Bonus.
It's a Brucey bonus.
Bonus session. Because we know that, for many people, they'll be meeting socially to do Christmassy things this week. A lot of our circles are getting together to do social stuff. So we kind of wanted to continue the conversation, but what we didn't want to do was, make it kind of difficult that you can't meet in your circles. So, this is kind of a bonus session for us to have some time together.
Absolutely. So join in the conversation this evening and make sure you engage. Put in the chat column, if you're watching this live, what is a key goal for 2024? What is it that you really want to see happen? Of course, that could be with your family. It could be with our church. It could be with your church if you're not part of Everyday Champions. It could be with your job. Come on, let's hear this evening. What is that goal? What's that aspiration? What's that dream? What's God put on your heart for next year? Okay.
I think it's because at this time, for me, at the end of each year, obviously people have New Year's resolutions, etc., and I get all that, but I just find myself, and maybe you're the same, I find myself being very pensive. I like that word. Ooh. Pensive and reflective. And I kind of reflect on the last 12 months or whatever that's gone before and think, have I achieved the things that I set out to achieve last year?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's some of them, not all of them. But it makes me very thoughtful, pensive and reflective. Maybe for you don't even give it a second thought. But I know for me, that's how I start to feel. And then I start to think, what number one, what have I not done that I should have done? And I said I was going to do. But two, what do I want to achieve in the next 12 months?
And of course, as always with Circles Live, and the bonus evening is no different, we are looking, what is it to go from a believer to a builder? I almost got it the wrong way around then.
We've done it this many weeks.
I know.
You should have had it by now.
I'm almost sending people back from builders to believers, back the other way. But no, from believers to builders. And so what we're looking at here, of course, is we are looking at the fact that a believer approaches the future differently to a builder. There's a shift that has to take place. And the believer looks forward to the future, whereas a builder plans for the future.
Absolutely. And that is really key. The difference between just looking forward to something, but then planning for it. And you might say, well, I don't particularly look forward to the future. I'm dreading it, or I don't like to think about it. But, don't take that too far. A believer will be somebody who just goes, yeah, I'm looking forward to the things that might be happening in the future. Whereas a builder goes, this is an opportunity to plan, to use potential, to take and make the most of every single opportunity.
Yeah, so are you, let's ask another question, because we want you to kind of engage in a conversation this evening. Are you a natural planner, or maybe are you a procrastinator?
Ooh, even the sound of that word is not very nice. Procrastinator.
Yes, procrastinator. I
remember one of the very first quotes that I learned, and it was my dad that taught me. In fact, my dad's taught me a lot of quotes over the years. But I remember this particular quote was one of the very first ones that I learned as a child. Procrastination is the thief of time.
Oh, that's good.
I remember him saying that to me as a young child, I think I was like putting off schoolwork or something. And I remember him saying to me, Leanne, procrastination is the thief of time. And that's stuck with me. It's true. You're putting something off. You're not helping yourself. You're actually allowing it to steal your time, the things that God has given you, time God has given us.
And of course, the whole idea there is that part of the journey to maturity, part of making that shift from a believer to a builder, is being a good manager, being a good steward of time.
Yes.
And so, when we are wasting anything that God has given to us, resource, and especially time, because it is our most precious resource, then we've got to stop ourselves and say, hang on a minute, actually, the time that I've been given isn't my own.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
I've been entrusted with it, and I'm going to be accountable for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this isn't just a nice conversation. I mean, it's a nice conversation, but it's not a nice conversation that is just simply kind of lining us up for, New Year's resolutions. It's far more important than that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. A lot of people go into New Year's resolutions, going, I'm going to give up this, or I'm going to start this, or whatever. When we're talking about making a goal for 2024, it's something far greater and far more significant than that. Because we all break resolutions. We might have said, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to start a new hobby, or, and one of mine was to get back into fitness. And we can go, yes, I've done that. I haven't done that. This goes far deeper, because when we learn to plan according to what God has set in our hearts as potential, there is something that is unlocked in our spirit of who God has made us to be, which is far greater than just giving up chocolate or starting a new hobby or learning to drive or whatever it might be. It's actually connected to the very reason why we are created, when we make plans according to the potential and the dreams that God has placed in our hearts and in our minds.
Yeah, that's so true. Let's look at some of the comments that are coming in so far. So Shirley has said, my goal is to be more consistent and impactful.
That's a good one.
That's a very good one, isn't it? I think there's lots of people that would want to be certainly more impactful, and I think consistency is a key one, isn't it?
Consistent is the one that I was going to talk about, because how many of us want to be consistent in a good way, not in a bad way, but consistency is really, really important. Actually, we did a session on that only a month or so ago, how to stay consistent.
Absolutely. My goal is to see my two friends come to know Jesus. That's
Brilliant.
A very good goal.
Very good goal.
Very specific as well.
Specific, measurable.
Achievable, relevant, time-bound.
Well done. I couldn't remember the others.
Excellent. No, really, really good. Fantastic. Another one here. My goal is to be braver and to step out in faith more.
Fantastic. That's and actually being brave is a good goal to have, to pushing yourself out and going from believers to builders is all about stepping out in faith more and being braver. So that's a great one. Absolutely.
So keep them coming in. Let us hear what it is that you are believing for in 2024. And, we were just talking about the whole fact that, planning is about valuing what has been entrusted to us. And the truth is that, if we are not managing our time, our health, our relationships, if we're not managing, opportunities that we're being given, then the reality is that it reveals a lack of value. It reveals a lack of value in God.
Yeah.
Because again, you go to the parable of the talents, and the servant who buried the talent did not have a true revelation and understanding of God. He saw God as this hard taskmaster rather than as a giver of gifts.
Yeah.
And not only that, it reveals a lack of value in ourselves, as well as a lack of value in people. So this is where there's a lack of value, where there's procrastination, it's symptomatic of a deeper lack of value. And again, God doesn't condemn us, but he wants to peel back that lie that we're believing, that we don't have that value, and to reveal to us the true value of what he's entrusted to us.
And he's also given us responsibility. There is a responsibility on us to make the most of the potential that God has given us, make the most of our time, our energy, our finances, our resource, our relationships. They are all things that have been entrusted to us.
Absolutely.
So we have a responsibility to say, okay, God, what do you want me to do with these? How can I plan better to best use my time, my finance, my energy. Those are I'd probably say the top three things that we waste.
Yeah, no, totally.
We waste energy, we waste finance, we waste time all the time.
Yeah. But the thing is, if we don't have a goal, if we don't have a vision, then sometimes we're just unaware that we're wasting. Because it's only when, and the Proverbs talks about, without vision, people cast off restraint. It's only when suddenly there's a vision of a future that has not been yet reached, that all of a sudden we think, oh my word, I've got to start dealing with my finances, or I've got to start dealing with my health. I've got to start dealing with the opportunities that I'm passing up, or the procrastination that I have. We need that demand of the future on our now. And of course, the Proverbs goes on to talk about this, and we're going to look at this passage right now because it talks about the fact that we need to move away from a fantastic phrase that I love it when the Proverbs talks about this. It talks in the minute about being a sluggard.
It's a good word, that, isn't it?
Oh, you sluggard. Absolutely.
It's definitely not a compliment.
No, it isn't. Oh, totally not. But I love about the Bible is it calls it what it is.
Yeah.
And, you can't dress this up.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
so
it goes on to say, Proverbs 24.
Do you want to read it?
You go for it.
Shall I let you read the sluggard part?
Yes, let me do
I
the sluggard.
this part, then you can do your favourite.
Yes, I've been waiting for the sluggard part.
So Proverbs 24 verse 27 says, put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. And obviously we're talking about going from believers to builders, and that is a plan. The Proverbs, the wise sayings there of Solomon, put your outdoor work in order, get your fields ready. That's preparation, that's thinking ahead, that's planning what you've got right in front of you, getting that sorted. And after that, notice it doesn't say, and at some point it says, and after you've done all the preparation, in other words, after you've done all the planning, after you've set your goals, after you've made decisions in faith, after that, build your house, do the work.
And it reveals to us in that proverb the need of a plan, because so many of us can rush ahead to build the house. And
get the right idea and go, oh, just going to go and do it.
Yeah, and there's an order there. It talks about, first of all, putting your outdoor work in order, getting your fields ready. Then after that, building your house. That's a plan. That is not just random activities. There's a clear order. So again, there's instruction there to create a plan. It's not just about running at anything and attacking a great idea. We need to plan.
And I've done that before. I'm sure you have too. Had a great idea, rushed out, and then realised you've got none of the materials or none of the resources or none of the things that you need to make it happen. And I've done that before and lots of different things and gone, oh, great. And it's taken twice as much time, twice as much energy, and sometimes twice as much finance because you've not done it right the first time. Whereas if I'd sat, made a plan, not rushed ahead and thought, it's okay, it can wait till tomorrow, if it's planned properly, then it would have worked. And some of us, I feel, are going to go charging into 2024, attacking the year with all the energy, all the resource, all the time, all the finance, and go, and actually, without a plan, wonder why in February we've run out of steam. And it's because God wants us to think in faith, hand in hand with the Holy Spirit, and go, God, how am I going to plan this? Show me, what budget do I need to get in place?
Yes.
What relationships do I need to get in place? What things in my calendar do I need to move or get rid of or make time for? And then when we do that, like I said, hand in hand with God, we're working and walking with him. He reveals to us what exactly we have to do. Yeah,
that's so, so true. And he goes on to say this, I went past the field of a sluggard, past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed and learnt a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man.
If ever there was a warning, that is one. Just in those few sentences, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief. In other words, it's not about being scared. It's not go, oh no, if I don't plan, if I don't do this, it's all going to fall apart. Sleeping with one eye open just in case something creeps up on you. It's not about that. If you've planned and got everything in order and you're working and walking with God, there is something where we can relax spiritually.
Yeah.
You can rest, like we've talked about. The panic comes when actually we've been sleeping, we've been slumbering, we've been sitting back and just letting it all happen. What will happen will happen. What will be. I'm fine. And then your finances will be in disarray. Your relationships will be a mess. Your time, you'll find that you've got no time or no energy. Or that's what it means when it says, and poverty will come on you like a thief. Before you know it, those things will be snatched away from you because you'll have just sat back.
Yeah.
And something or someone else will come in and take them away from you.
And again, it's the little, isn't it? It's starting to recognize the power of small decisions. These things don't just happen, with one decision.
Yeah.
Something that happens suddenly is actually the result usually of a series of many choices that have been overlooked.
Yeah.
There are very rarely few suddenlies in life. Now, we may suddenly become aware of an outcome, in this instance, suddenly aware, that oh my word, I've wasted opportunity, or I feel like I'm being robbed of time or energy or whatever. But it doesn't just happen. It's the series of lots of decisions that, are easy not to make and easy to make. They're the small decisions, and we've got to, in 2024, we've got to step up as builders to recognize the value of small decisions, and a plan does that.
Now then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you spoke on something a while ago talking a couple of years maybe, and it stuck with me, this phrase, failure suddenly happens when faithfulness gradually stops.
Yeah, very well done.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See, and that's not in our notes.
No.
That's not just in there, that's in there.
Yeah.
Failure suddenly happens. In other words, we go, oh my word, what went wrong? This thing that I'm trying to build, this whatever, this vision that I want to see come about. Failure suddenly happens when faithfulness gradually stops. It's the little by little by little where we go, do you know what? I can't be bothered with that anymore. I'm tired, or I don't need to give as much every month, or, I don't need to be as generous, or I don't need to give my time to the stuff. I'll just go next week, or I'll just be with them next. It's the small little things, little by little, that gradually the lack of faithfulness means failure suddenly happens. But it's funny because when failure happens, we go, what happened? Why, it was all going well. Well, it wasn't all going well. Something somewhere was gradually a little folding of the hands to rest, a little sleep, a little slumber. You came up with that quote, but it was actually embedded in the Proverbs.
Absolutely.
Thousands of years ago.
Yeah, it is so true. And again, a plan is like a magnifying glass of the details. Think about it if you've ever done a budget. So whenever you do a budget, you suddenly become aware of the value of a pound or a dollar or whatever it is that you're doing your budget in. You heighten your awareness of every kind of unit that you have to operate in, and you suddenly start seeing patterns of behavior, and you recognize, oh my word, this pattern of behavior isn't lined up to my plan. Suddenly the plan highlights what needs to change. And so, we need that plan, because without the plan, we end up relying upon feelings. Oh, I feel like I'm doing enough, or I feel like I'm giving enough, or I feel like I'm being faithful. The plan actually puts the spotlight on what's really happening. And there is no perfect plan. That's not the idea. But the idea is, of course, when we're working with God, that when we have a plan, we open ourselves up as good stewards for the perfect one to guide us and to lead us. Because God shows up in the details when the manager is ready.
But the Bible even talks about how a man plans a course in his heart, but God determines the steps.
Yes.
It's not saying, well, plan whatever you like, but God will do his thing anyway, in that tone.
Yeah.
It is that exactly that. Plan what you like. God's going to do what he wants to do anyway. But what it means is that, like you said, there is no perfect plan. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't plan.
Yes.
We've just read that.
Yeah.
So otherwise we will fall into the lazy trap of going, well, God's going to do whatever he wants to do anyway. But you see, I believe that planning process is what brings out the potential in us.
Yes.
And you actually wrote that in your book, The Winning Keys, talking about the gears of momentum. I encourage you to go and read that. And when it talks about making a plan, I think it's gear 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think it's 3.
But actually, it's the whole point of that planning process is what draws the potential out of us. And it's about, I honestly believe that God has given us crazy imaginations, ways of creating in our mind of what there could be, what the possibilities could be. We go, oh, that could never happen. Or no, that's not going to work. And we dumb down and we kind of pull down and reduce potential that God is trying to draw out of us. And as kids, don't you love it when they draw pictures and they make models and they come up with these ideas? For them, the possibilities are endless because they don't see the problems.
Yeah.
They just go, oh, we can do this, we can do that. But as adults, we learn, because it is learned behavior, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, and doubt creeps in. Oh, I don't think that's going to be a great idea. And people will think I'm stupid, etc., etc. And that is why I believe Jesus tells us that we have to be like little children to come into the kingdom of God, not to reduce and have a low IQ, but to get rid, actually to expand our minds and get rid of the barriers that we put in the way as adults that go, I can't, I won't, I shouldn't, what will people say? And suddenly this planning process can bring out the potential that God has placed inside of us.
Absolutely. And I love Paul's comment here. My goal for 2024 is to step out of the comfortable places I hold on to because I feel I can control them.
Eek. We all feel that. I sometimes think that's all of us at some point. You know, we don't want to leave where we have control and where it's comfortable.
Because a plan is usually a step into the unknown.
Yeah.
It's a step into uncertainty. And so, you know, almost a reminder that we're going to step into uncertainty and unknown. We therefore shelve the plan.
Yeah,
and so, but we need the tension of the plan. The plan introduces tension into each day, and we need to visit the plan every day.
Yeah.
There's no good for visiting the plan just once a year. You know, you need to visit the plan every day. And I want to encourage us all in the next few weeks. There's going to be periods where it's quiet and we have opportunities to reflect. And we want everybody to kind of reflect on this question that we're going to be asking.
Yeah, and obviously, like we said, there's a lot of people not going to be meeting with their circle to necessarily discuss this. But, you know, maybe you're going to meet somebody for coffee and talk about, oh, what are your plans for Christmas? What are your plans for New Year? You know, we talk about that. Take it one step further. Hey, what's your goal for 2024? And actually, we can be really specific and ask this question: what can I do to be more diligent in making plans for my future? What plans do I need to make to ensure I'm reaching my God-given potential? If you're meeting with somebody who is a Christian, that's probably an easier question to ask, not necessarily easy to answer, but easier to ask because we all understand that we want to reach our God-given potential. And obviously we've unpacked the importance of making plans. If you're meeting up with somebody who is not a Christian, this is still a really good question to ask because it makes people suddenly go, hang on a minute, what am I doing in my life? Why am I even here? It could open the possibility for a conversation to say, hey, did you know there's a God who loves you, who's put potential inside of you that actually wants you to grow and learn and have a future that you can plan for? And those conversations can really open up because nobody really wants to sit and say, well, I haven't got a future. I haven't got a hope. But we're able to say, hey, there's a hope and a future in God. Because
our why at Everyday Champions is there's more in you than you think. And my prayer every day is, God, help me to help others see the potential, the purpose, and the plans that you have already put in them and to help draw them out. But we can only do that when we're working on our own plan.
Absolutely.
So listen, go take this question that we have put out on the screen here. And of course, take the conversation and do the ABCs, Leanne. Do you want to do the honor?
For the last time in 2023.
The last time in 2023.
quite sad, but exciting too.
Yes.
2024, we believe, is going to hold more than 2023. And so the questions that we ask is, A, what have you become aware of in this session? What have you learned for the first time? What have you been reminded of? B, what's the barrier to growth in this area? What do I need to overcome? What is the thing that is standing in the way? Maybe for you, it's that you're a procrastinator and not a planner. You need to become a planner. And see, what change am I going to make? And really simply, this change is your goal. What is your key goal for 2024? That is as simple as it is. Write it down. I encourage you. We did this a few years ago. I remember in London with the team that we had there. In the end of the year, we wrote down our goals, and then the following year, we put them in the safe. We opened them up,
and we revisited them.
We looked to see who had managed to reach their goal, and it was really an incredible evaluation to do. I encourage you to do that. Write it down in your phone, on a piece of paper, in your Bible, in your journal, on your fridge, wherever, and stick to it.
And so for the final time this year on a Monday night, remember today and every day you are a champion, and there's more in you than you think. We'll see you in the new year.
Have a great Christmas and a new year.